My name's Tomi, and you're watching Funk Stylist TV, and I'm here in Russia this time for locking out, and I've got a mixed bag of guests right here. So we got OG Ski, Tony GoGo,
yo,
Loic, Jimmy Soul from France, and Locking Luna.
Luna! Sure.
And I'm pretty sure I'm gonna try and control this interview as best I can. But Tony GoGo's got other things in mind, maybe. But again, thank you very much for agreeing to do this interview, guys. I think it's one of the rare occasions that we get so many lockers from so many different generations as well coming together. So I'll kickstart it all off by starting with a general question. How did you all start locking? So Luna, I'll start with you.
Yeah.
So when did you start locking?
Maybe 2006.
2006?
Yeah.
Okay. And where in Korea are you from? Which city?
Seoul.
Seoul.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a lot of people locking where you go?
Yeah, many people locking. Yeah.
Who taught you to lock? What teachers?
My teacher is Khan, originality, and Boon, and and in Seoul.
So many others.
Yeah. Originality.
Originality.
Yeah.
Cool. And what about you guys, Loic and Jimmy? How did you guys start locking, and who got you into the game, and who were your teachers?
So I start locking in 2000 in 1996 when I start with Loic in a big party.
So you started at the same time?
Yes, we start in the same time. Yes. He told me that yesterday. Now I can't remember.
Okay.
And it's a big deal for me because it's my beginning. It's my beginning and my past and my future, you know. Because when we start on the small club, and every Sunday we meet on the club for dance and develop our style. We don't know the locking at that time.
Right.
We don't know the locking.
So it's just partying.
Just chill and try to do something with a little of information we had at the moment, and after we stop because the party is dead. And I met a lot of OG in France, like Truand, like Junior, and after I start with it's funny because it's not a locker, it's a b-boy, actual force. Okay. I practice with actual force for a long time, and I develop a lot of skills, a lot of think. After that.
Okay. Was it the same for you as well?
Yeah, it's the same.
Did you do the same with
James? I started in suburb of Paris, and with like the same name, like Truand is my first teacher. He practiced jazz rock, but he practiced locking and every style. And when I start the dance, I don't begin just with the locking. I start every dance. I practice everything because my teacher say it's better, and after you choose your style. And after, when I see many videos and meet many guys like Jimmy or many guys, I work my locking. I would like to understand, to learn more with Junior, Gemini. Like he's not a locker, but he's a OG, like Claes and Passy. It's a popper, but it's a OG in France. It's a good spirit, and now I go to many times with these guys. Like Claes, Junior, Gemini, or my partner like Manu. We're training every day.
Funny you make Manu. How did you guys meet P-Lock and Manu? I mean, did they start at the same time as you as well, or did they come in later?
Me, for my part, I met P-Lock in. in 2002 when I start to dance with Boogie Lockers.
Okay.
With Junior. And Junior try to, comment on dit, mettre ensemble. Ouais, try to put together.
Yeah.
Together. And when he do that, after it was a big adventure with Pilok and me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it was after you started locking.
After we start locking, we were really locking. Yeah. And after I met a lot of people like Skeeter Rabbit, Tomi GoGo, Greg Campbell, rest in peace, and a lot of people. Yes.
Yeah. And what about you with Manu?
Oh,
how did that partnership happen?
Yeah, for us is in French you have the suburb of Paris and you have before you have family, you know, in 7-7 like 9-3, and I come from a department. His name is 9-3, you know, and this department they are family like Claise, Gemini, Truand is the same family. Okay. And my first teacher is Truand, and the first teacher of Manu is Claise. It's the same. It's the real brother. And when we go to training together, we practice, and in 2004 we do an exchange, him and me, maybe 2 hours we dance together. After he asked me, "You did the Juste Debout?" I say, "Oh no, because my teacher don't want to do another one." He say, "Oh, you want to do with me?" I say, "Yeah, okay, let's go." And when we go to do the Juste Debout in 2004, we win. Yeah. That's crazy shit. That's crazy.
That's when you know it worked and really well.
Yeah, and after it's for life. Yeah, it's for life.
That's cool.
It's really my brother. It's family. He sleep in my home. I go sleep in his home. Sure. We practice together. We know the family is the real, like you do like this.
Like a brother thing. Yeah. Oh, hey, and what about you guys? I mean, Skeet, Tony, I mean, you got... Okay, when did you start, and then how did the GoGo brothers get together? A lot of history right there.
Yeah, a lot of history.
Just with the two of you.
Yeah, well, I started actually in high school.
Okay.
Verbum Day High School.
13 years old.
Yeah, and before that, you know, we were just soul dancing around, you know, and then decided to dance together as a unit, as
so
a
you
group.
went to the same school then?
Went to the
Same school.
Okay.
Verbum Day High School in Watts, California.
Yes, and that's basically how we started. And then, of course, after creating the GoGo Brothers, what other groups we created, like Creative Generation, a few more, right?
We danced. We put together Which Your Way
Brothers,
33 RPM, all the groups that came out of Watts at that time. Yeah. And we go back to 1971 when we started putting crews and groups together. Yeah. In 1971 we started, but we were soul party dancers before that. We were known as guys that went to parties and got down all throughout the 60s. And when locking first came out, or we first saw Don, we were taken to the Citadel by Charles Robot. And we went to the Citadel and we saw Don doing some very, very basic stuff in original locks. Yeah. And we were already doing our soul party steps. So we get back to school, and Buddy and Tony GoGo, they were getting down in the quad. So I come over and we all started getting down in the quad. We had Kevin Yo-Yo, and it became a huge family, the GoGo and Yo-Yo brothers and the Coco brothers in Watts, California. But the main four was the Go-Go's and Yo-Yos, me, Tony, Buddy GoGo, and Kevin Yo-Yo, and we began doing shows as a crew. So we've been family, like Loic said, so it's family.
Yeah, it's about family.
All family, we don't forget family. Rest in peace, Elmer Fudd, one of the original members that passed away. We danced as family, and we would go up at 17, 18 years old, and we were able to get into the clubs, the 18 and over clubs. And that's where, with Greg Campbell Locke Jr. and with Scooby-Doo, we began to bring them back down into the high school scene with us and the college scenes. And then we created Creative Generation out in Watts.
The clubs, Maverick Flats, the Citadel, the Summit, on the Hill, all of these clubs were basically the dance of locking was actually founded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the culture, literally.
Just the whole culture of it. Yes.
So how did or what was the first group to start to do like combination or simultaneous locking? I mean, was it you guys that started like the first?
We were actually the first synchronized group out of Los Angeles at that time. Yes.
And then after you, then guess
then they asked, when they started seeing the synchronized groups take place, we'd go around to the high schools. They would ask us to come around and perform, and then all the high schools and junior high schools start putting little groups together. And then the city of Watts saw what we were doing with Nettabug Johnson, and they asked us to come to Watts Writers Workshop and actually start trying to teach it and put another group together. And we put Creative Generation with Greg Campbell Locke Jr. and Jimmy Scooby-Doo, along with an all-female group, which was called the Tootawooda Sisters, and Buddy GoGo, and we combined and we made Creative Generation. Yes. And that was the first shows. One of the first shows we did, the CIF asked us to do the sports arena, where it was 7,000 to 10,000 people, and we did a 20-minute show in 1971-72. This is before there was any locking on TV or anything like that. It's the first groups.
Well, then, is there any footage of that?
Somewhere it's well, you know, it was a championship basketball game. Our high school was like the #1 basketball team in, United States for 4 years.
Wow.
You know, and so we did the halftime shows for them.
Yeah.
We were able to do that.
Speaking of the shows, I know you mentioned before that there was a Frank Sinatra show that you guys did. So can you just tell us about that a little bit more? Like, what year was that, and was it the first time you met the Lockers on that tour? Or
No,
you made them in the club, right?
What happened is Campbell Jr. received a call from Tony Basil.
Yeah.
And Slim had some kind of problem. He couldn't make the tour.
Sure.
So they had to have a replacement because they had already signed the contract with Mr. Sinatra's company. So the GoGo Brothers, the robot in the GoGo Brothers was Skeeter.
Yeah.
So I told Greg, he asked me, but I couldn't do it. I didn't know how to make robot suits. The only person that I can think of was my brother Skeet, because he was able to design his own robot suits he used in our show. So Skeeter was able to, take care of that job for them. Yes.
They gave me a call and asked me. They said that Slim had wound up getting in trouble and couldn't make it, and could I come out to New York to do the Frank Sinatra tour? Okay. But we knew Greg and Scooby had danced in the group before with us. We knew Don because we partied at all the clubs with Don. We knew them. We actually knew when they started to put the group together. Greg had told me and Tony we were going to be alternates in the group because we were in college. Right. And our families didn't want us to leave college to start to dance because there was no money in dance in those days. Okay. So no one wanted us to actually leave college. Tony was on a football scholarship and I was on a baseball scholarship. Right. So when I finally convinced my mom, let me go because I want to go, I want to go dance, she let me go there. And I was on the Frank Sinatra tour.
Yeah. Any stories along that tour?
Oh man, come on, Carnegie Hall, man. East Coast tour.
The first time I looked up in the Frank Sinatra tour, I looked up and I was looking in the rafters and there was Lucille Ball, it was Sammy Davis Jr. there. There was all there. And then we got the crazy stuff on the tour, like when Fred Berry streaked. You guys are too young to remember streaking, but there was a thing that happened where people would take their clothes off.
Wait a minute, that happened on the girls' graduation at
our high school graduation. Some girl took her robe off and streaked, just ran in front of everybody.
We were all dressed, receiving our diploma.
And she just ran right in front of everybody.
She just ran.
But the crazy part is me and Greg on the Frank Sinatra tour was talking with Fred, with Rerun. You know how big Rerun is. We told him, we said, man, you won't streak. We shouldn't have told him that.
You shouldn't have.
There was a crowd out in the middle of the hotel. And Fred took off in the middle of the crowd. Got to the other end, took his clothes off, and took off running back towards the room. I never seen a crowd open up like this. They just got out of his way. Fred big and he's running, no clothes on, dude. We shut the door on him. He had to run down.
Good actor, man.
Crazy.
Oh man. Sorry, I just have this image of Rerun just running.
It's true. Yes.
So the whole kind of brothership and the GoGo Brothers and all the other duos that came about, but who were the first ones to do the handshakes? I mean, where did the handshake come from? And does it signify something? And who did it first?
It comes off the streets of, I won't just say Los Angeles, it comes off the streets of the inner cities.
Of the United States.
The United States. The inner cities doing the struggle for civil rights, to bring everyone together. That was the handshake for unity. Okay. The thumb grip handshake, where you grip, where your thumb is on the outside, that was the symbol of unity. Yeah. That was put into the dance. In various groups. The GoGo Brothers made their variations. Tony and Buddy used to do a style of the handshake where they would grab hands and kick split and go down in the split and come up. They would do the handshake through splits. the one that you see the lockers do, a lot of things was added to it to make it more dynamic and more powerful.
That's
but
great.
it all started with the thumb grip.
Okay.
You know, it's a lot of during the struggle actually of the times, you know, late 60s, early 70s. It was also because we couldn't communicate, you know, so agile and verbally. So these were ways we can communicate and say hello and things like that.
Right.
So we just ad-lib with it and put it into dance and made it part of the repertoire of dance steps.
Okay. It also was that when you were walking down the street, you could identify who was part of your struggle by if they knew how to shake hands.
Yeah.
If you walked up to someone and they shook your hand regularly, you know they didn't understand the struggle. But if we met and we said, "What's up, bruh?" and we talked like that, you understood that they understood that we were all part of the same struggle.
I guess that's kind of similar to what we all do these days.
Yes,
when we see another dancer, we do the whole touch thing.
Yes.
So I guess it's the same.
Yes, it's the same. It has the same.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So with all these, like kind of groups and stuff. I mean, I want to find out how it differs from training and for all the generations. So, how did you guys practice back in the day, and how do you guys practice now, and how do you practice, Luna? I mean, I'll start with Luna. In Korea, when you're at home, do you practice on your own, or do you drill a lot, or do you have lots of people to practice with?
I practice my
yourself?
practice place. Have a studio.
Okay. Yeah.
In studio, and many style dancers inside.
You mix.
Yeah.
You mix.
Together practice.
Okay. So not just lockers, but other styles too.
Locker, popper,
everybody
hip-hop,
together.
Everybody together.
All right.
Yeah.
And what about you guys? I mean, you're a little bit older than Luna. So I mean, do you guys practice on your own or together, or do you like Luna have a place where you all communally get together and train together, like with b-boys or with
yes
and stuff?
I think if you want to progress, you want to take some energy about a lot of dancer. For example, me when I practice a lot of with Piloc, and sometimes I practice with b-boy, with house dancer, with hip hop. But my big of part of my practice is in my head, because when I practice, for me I practice all the time, all day.
Just like on the train.
Yes, because you know what, when I do something before, for me it's a kind of practice. It's a kind of practice, because yesterday night I saw something on the TV. It worked on my head, and after I want to do something with that, because I'm very interesting.
So you take the inspirations from anything that you see.
For me, my practice, it's all inspiration. Maybe I don't know. I look at you. Maybe after you can do something, and what do? I can try to do something with that when I dance. But for me, my big part of my practice in my head.
In your head.
After my body, I just prepare my body for dance. But dance, it's your heart before, and after you can do everything if you want. It's my opinion, for me.
That's cool. Loic, I mean, do you practice in your head as well all the time?
It's the same. When you wake up, you are dance. When you go to sleep, you are dance. When you have with your family, you are dance. It's not just a passion. It's like a
life,
more.
religion.
It's your life. When I start the dance, I don't think I'm come here. You know, I don't think I'm here. I don't think it's a big. It's my life. You know, it's not big. It's not a part of my life. It's my life. Because we're training
like
every time. You can to pass many times in the room for training with your friends, or you meet people. And I think with the dance you can to do everything, you know.
Yeah.
You can to meet people. You can to speak with. If you don't speak the language, we can to speak together. She don't speak very well English, but if we do looking, you understand?
Yeah,
You understand?
You can
You
communicate.
understand? It's
Universal
a communication.
It's a language.
Your body,
yeah.
the body language.
Absolutely.
You speak with your body.
Absolutely.
I think we can break the origin. You can break the many things, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Just through dance.
yeah.
What about you guys? These guys practice quite a lot.
Well,
obviously,
no,
for tournaments and stuff,
they've
but-
said basically how it is now. I think in
Yeah,
in the generation today,
Yeah.
and for all professional dancers or people who are actually interested in movement,
Yeah.
you're always moving.
Yeah.
You're always thinking movement or music or
Hearing it
it's
in your
just
head all
it's a
the
part
time.
of your life now,
Okay.
and that's how we've tried to encourage the everybody to grow that way now.
As a lifestyle,
Yes,
not just
not
a dance,
just a
right?
dance.
That's the way it
in a
developed.
in a studio.
Mhm.
Studio's okay, but not just that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, did you guys practice in a? Sorry, did you guys
We-
practice in a studio?
We
or did you
practice in
anywhere
parks,
Backyards.
backyards,
See,
garages.
If you
We got a garage system. We
Oh,
say we
yeah.
go
he
into the
was just telling
garage.
me that his mother still hollers at him about all the dips in the grass
Yes.
in the backyard.
Yeah, we still got holes in the backyard we used to make. They're still there.
The difference is, and I want to give all the respect to these dancers right here. What they said is so real. It always touches me because they have it on the money. You can't just do a dance like this, a culture, an art form like this. Then you're just a dancer, just doing a style. If they feel it all the time, then it becomes part of it. We've been feeling it for 40 years now. When you talk about how did we train, you got to remember that back in our days, we weren't allowed in dance studios. There were no dance studios in the hood, in the ghetto. We couldn't go in dance studios. We had to practice in the backyards, in the garages. There were no mirrors. So we had to mirror each other. We had to dance with each other and look at each other and see what we like. We didn't have the luxury of dancing in mirrors and things of that sort. It was altogether different. When we start dancing, there was no street dancing, period. There wasn't. It was only social party dancing.
Yeah.
So it was everything was being brand new. Everything was being pioneered. Everyone wondered why we was doing it that way. Why we danced all the time like you guys. Why every time we was hearing music in our head, everyone questioned, what are you guys doing? What's wrong with you guys? We would pull up in a car at a stop sign.
Jump out
And
the
jump
car.
out the car. and
Yeah,
start
yeah,
cutting
yeah,
up,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
The light would
Yes,
turn, we'd
yes.
jump back in the
Everybody
car and
doing
drive
it.
off, and everyone on the street.
Get back in.
Yeah, then after, yeah.
all-
Of course.
all
I
the
did that.
time.
Yes, I
on the
did that.
freeway.
Because when the
Yes,
when the music moved you,
You
got-
couldn't
got
hold
into
it back. You just
So
let
for
it
us
go.
to see from the beginning, when there was no studios, there was no counting, there was no synchronizing your move to the music, you had to dance to the music that was played. We see the progression of what we're able to do now. When they give us studios, when they give us good equipment, when they give us places to practice, look where you can take it. Look where it goes. Because that didn't exist back in our day. When we would practice, the real practice when we started doing some shows, when they started asking us to do shows because we would dance together in the parties and we started synchronizing stuff. Then we would get together at the house and we would put together our routines. And that's where we would practice the routines. Before that, we just danced all the time.
All
And
the time.
actually, for me, that's the best training. I teach now at the Hip Hop School of Art, so I can, once or twice a week, I go in and I actually can practice. Before that, I didn't practice on purpose.
Yeah.
I just danced all the time. And that was my practice.
Digne d'une phrase de film.
Okay,
C'était bon la vérité.
I mean, dancing for quite a while, so I just want to kind of bring it back a little. So practicing all the while, and then when after the tours and all the dance, when did you see locking recline a little bit or decline a little bit, should I say? I mean, did you start dancing for all like the 80s and 90s as well, or? Because when you get older, you start having like other things come into your life, so you have to start supporting yourself, kids, wife, etc.
Well,
and dancing kind of takes
It never declined. For Tony,
I was kind of fortunate, or I always like to use the word blessed, that I never had to stop.
Dancing.
Yes, I never had to, and I was able to,
That's
you know, have offspring that also continued it on, and so.
And what offspring, right?
My sons, my kids, you know, 2 sons and a daughter that still perform the art form of locking. And they do all styles now.
Yeah.
But it's something that to me is never stopped, and thanks to everyone here today, they've contributed too. It's not just only my kids; it's everybody that's here today. This is Luna. I've been seeing Luna for over like 7 or 8 years, you know. So, you know, all of these guys, you know, for a good amount of time.
Yeah.
So their continuation is a continuation of the art form still, you know, till today.
Okay.
So it's never stopped. I danced through the 80s and 90s, and started mixing all styles with it.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think it's been continued.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
also, when people think that locking made a tremendous change, there were different worlds. In the world of locking that Tony's talking about, he was able to go into a world and support himself and raise a family.
Sure.
Back in the hood, where I went into other things, but I've always worked inside of the hood, locking never died. That's a fallacy that people think. Locking went underground because it was disappointed at the commercial world for what it took from it.
Yeah.
Sure.
So at every house party, every barbecue, every birthday party I ever went to for years, behind closed doors, the families got together and locked.
Yes.
But they wasn't interested in the TV cameras then, because they weren't interested in the fake money then. We kept it underground. So in Watts and Compton and Inglewood, it always existed. On the semi-commercial world, because they didn't see it, because they didn't come in there,
They thought
they thought it went away. But it wasn't interested in that world anymore. So when people would come to LA, what world did they go to? They went to the Hollywood world.
Yeah.
And the Hollywood world said, oh, locking is no good no more. It's not that way no more. No, they didn't come down in the hood and see the parties that I saw where it still existed.
Yeah.
And it was going to exist because it's a language, like you said, and it relates to everybody. They can't stop it.
Can't stop.
And a real interesting thing to me, being able to watch locking for at least 40 years, is most of the originals quit.
Yeah.
The actual performance or dance style. All of the originals, I can say. And so what I had to do was take it to a different country and start trying to communicate with the younger generation.
And when was that? I mean,
1980 is when I moved to Asia, Japan.
Yeah.
And Korea was my first experience as far as teaching it in a foreign land. And living in Japan, but being offered work in Korea first is where I started.
Okay.
Thanks to her teachers.
Yes.
So it's all connected. Yes, it's all connected now.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So I mean, did you meet your wife out there, or?
Yes, I met her in Japan, of course, and that's how I was able to.
Was she a dancer too at the time?
No, she was a musician. She was a piano teacher at the time.
Oh, okay.
And so she wanted to. We started doing recitals. At first, she was doing piano recitals only, and I got her to mix the dance with the piano recital. For 17 years, this is what we did, and so that's how it started spreading, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you went over. I mean, speaking of Japan, there is now this on Locker Legends. There is a thing called Lock Fusion now, which the term is being coined. I mean, how did that come about? I mean, did it all spawn from you, or was that something that something else that you took to another level?
No. It's just, to me, was just a continuation of what I was doing, and started mixing the style with more different styles of dance.
Right.
And after communicating with my brother about it, after some years, he came up actually with this term lock fusion.
Right.
And so I digested that, and I'm just holding that to this day.
Okay.
So yes.
So there've always been fusions, and like the actual locking itself is created from fusions of the social party dance, the fusions of the gestures from the streets. It's always been fusions. What Tony took it and did is he started to always create new fusions, new things. He never settled for it being one thing. And when we started talking, I said, well, people said, well, it's not, well, you can't call it locking if Tony's doing all of these different things. I said, yes, you can. It's fusions. It's fusions of locking as locking starts to melt together with other styles and other steps and things of that sort. It should always have a foundation, but it's fusions. And so we started calling it lock fusions. But Tony was the first person I started seeing to do other things in the middle of locking. And you could see it in the styles in Japan, where they changed, things started to change.
Adding a little bit of flavor to it. So, I mean, what was locking like when you got to Japan?
There was no locking.
There was no locking.
They were all b-boys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, everyone I met was a b-boy.
So
we had the bebop crew, which is one of the main influences of Japan, of the street. As they're called the bebop crew. They were basically all b-boys.
Okay, so is it safe to say that you started locking in Japan then?
Of course. And street dance.
Street dance.
I opened the first street dance school in Japan.
Okay.
In 1984, I think 82. Sorry.
I mean, because wow, that's a really big deal. Because I mean, if there was no locking before, and if you over the 40 years, if you look at it now, it's huge.
Yes,
I mean, not even just Japan, but all of Asia.
Yes.
I mean,
well, the
it's
world.
a bit of a bold statement. I mean, you pretty much started locking.
Yes, there was no one. The first person that came to Japan that locked was Jimmy Scooby-Doo.
Okay. Yeah.
He came over to Japan as something special, but he wasn't labeled a locker. It was a variety act, where they, had streamers on and all these things. But he used locking as his solo piece in the show, so they got to see a little bit of it then.
Yeah.
But 2 years after that, when I moved there, actually started, being an influence to the people there.
So what is it about? I mean, I mentioned that it's got so big now. What is it about the whole Asian culture that's basically made it blow up? The popularity.
They loved it. They took a hold of it.
Yeah.
Is from what I see, and even though a lot of people started developing their own styles with it or whatever, they took a hold of it and never let it go. And for 10 years, as I look at it, they kept going with it for 10 years after I got there, and then it took off.
Is that like
it went to Europe from there, and then global.
You were the first to take it international.
Yes.
So, I mean, what's the difference between like the western side of the world compared to the eastern side? Is it mentally, or I mean, why is it like on the western side there's pockets of lockers? So in France it's like a handful, London it's like a handful, but in Asia it's like a continental thing, right?
Yes.
I mean, in your opinion, what's the difference in mentality there?
It's that they.
It's just him.
They had the original foundation from the beginning.
Yes.
With Tony going there, taking everything there, they were able to build from the ground up.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they developed a total foundation. If you see every really good locker, there's some foundation of Tony's teaching in them. Somewhere in there, you can see some of Tony's teaching in Asia. Some of the other countries got parts of it, and then they brought OGs later, so they're picking it up as it comes later. So it changed. They have a big foundation from the beginning. But I think one thing that makes the other countries pick it up is there's a thread that goes through all of us. I think Loic and Jimmy said it. I think Luna can sense it, that there's a need in the youth today to express themselves, to find themselves. And dance is a method that we've all chosen to find ourselves, whether we did it in 71, or you did it in 90s or 80s, or you did it in the beginning of the 2000s. There's a need to find ourselves through music. And when someone comes along that can give you something that feeds your soul, what happens? Tony showed up in Japan when it was a need for that generation to feed their soul. It showed up in France when there was a need for Loic to bring his family together in the hood to feed his soul. There was a need for Luna to learn it. And when it gets to that point, it can't help but blow up.
Yeah.
And there were other entities too, like me actually going back and bringing the original sources from a a major group that was known as the Lockers, bringing them to Asia one by one. I did, and so after bringing them to Asia, they were introduced to Korea and France and everywhere, Italy, and so it was all a contributing factor also. Yes.
Wow. Okay. So I mean, okay. So how would, thinking forward now? I mean, how would we preserve this whole locking culture now, and how would we make it grow? I mean,
preserve it?
Yeah. Well, preserve it, and I get
What do you think?
Make it grow?
Yeah, make it the future. Oh, okay. Well, I'll direct the questions. I mean, for you guys.
No, it's true. It's true.
For me, just tell the just say the truth. Say the truth about the
beautiful statement. No, I had to stop him because we were talking about this last night.
Oh, right. Okay.
And I'd like you to say what.
Well, let Jimmy
go ahead,
do your thing, y'all.
No, it's
do your thing.
No. For me, it's my opinion. If you want to grow up in the looking preserved this dance, tell them the truth, the foundation, the real foundation, the real base.
Comes out.
Now a lot of the new generation want to be famous before learn the real foundation. Before understand the dance. The dance, not the looking, the dance.
The dance, the culture.
Through just say the truth. Say the truth.
Okay. I mean, do you have it? Oh, go on.
Go ahead, Skeeter. Go on. And what you said last night, I think, is the perfect statement to add to.
I think that the dancers today do not understand that there's a difference between dancing the style of dance and becoming part of a real culture.
Real culture, yeah.
Of course.
Everybody has the right to do a style. Everybody has a right. Someone could see locking for 5 minutes on TV, and yes, they can go over in the corner and point and lock, and yes, they're doing the style. But you cannot become part of the real culture unless you seek something. And the new generation is seeking their purpose in locking. We had a purpose that inspired us from the 60s and 70s. There's a purpose that inspires you. Locking comes from us pulling the world together for change. And that's why we're all sitting here, and the truth. Without loving locking enough to be real to it, you cannot get the benefits from it. The reason that we're here today is because we were true to the game. We didn't use the game to not be true.
Right.
The reason we're here today is because we used what locking was supposed to be to benefit other people. When you use locking wrong, it's not going to treat you right.
It's not going to treat you.
You will never feel funk or soul if you misuse locking.
Be tasteless, right?
It will be tasteless.
Nice word. And my brother was talking last night, he asked a question. I'm going to ask him so he can explain it to you guys.
Okay.
What is funk?
Let's
That's the question.
This is a question, right? $1 million question.
Everybody, let's hold it right here. Then we have funk right here. Everyone thinks that you can grab funk and hold it right there.
They
that
do.
you can buy it. I can
Exactly.
sell you. I can say, look here, give me $5. You can have some funk.
Yeah, come to my class.
You
man.
see
I
that
give you some
sometimes,
funk, man.
actually.
Teach me
Come
how
to
to
my
walk.
class. I give you some funk.
Yeah, teach me how to walk funky. Okay, we can walk funky for an hour, and we'll be. But you know what? And that's why we talk history, and people say, well, history gets boring. Let's just straight dance. Well, no. Without history, without foundation, how the heck are you dancing from your soul? So therefore, what is funk? Funk, if you look up the ancient terminology of funk, it is the rhythmic smell and soul of rhythmic sex. It came from Africa. The term funk came from Africa. So therefore, if that's the true meaning of soul, that means that you will actually have an intimate relationship with the music and the culture. you have to have an intimate relationship
That brings
with it.
out
Yeah,
that smell in you.
You smell.
You
smell.
smell
Yeah.
funky,
Funky.
Yeah.
When
You
that
don't
smell
learn. You
comes
don't learn
off,
funk. You don't learn. You can feel the funk.
you can,
Yeah.
and you can, and you can
can't learn
almost.
funk.
James
It's not-
Brown says, "Funky funk, funk up the room." What is he talking about? He could almost smell it. It was so funky.
You know.
So therefore, if you don't have that intimate relationship with the music and with the culture, you will never ever,
have that
ever feel
flavor
funk. You will never have it.
Never have it.
And where does funk come from? Funk is the sweat that comes off of your soul.
Soul.
That's why there was soul music and funk music, because they were singing the music from their soul. And from their soul came a sweat called what? Funk.
Funk, which is the flavor. Because everybody
so all the students that think they can buy it, I feel a little sorry for them.
Yeah.
Because no matter how they do it, what event they win, no matter what title someone gives them, there's something that's going to always be missing in your soul.
Yeah.
You're never going to feel it. If you want to feel it, submit to it, have an intimate relationship with what we have had an intimate relationship with, and maybe one day you'll be blessed to feel real funk and soul. And that's what we pray you guys do.
Have that flavor.
Have that flavor.
True flavor. Come on, OG. Yeah.
Oh, OG.
Don't
What up, YGs? What up, YGs?
YGs in the house. Funky J.
I don't even know how to follow that. But conscious of time though, we've got the last 10 minutes, right? I have some normal out of the bag questions. They're not really specifically about locking. They're more about like your personalities and what you do in your like kind of spare time. So just for the last five or 10 minutes. So Luna, I'll start with you.
Yeah.
So when you don't dance, what do you do? You know how you relax, or do you?
I have.
So when
sorry.
you don't dance, what?
Don't. Sorry.
Luna likes to.
It's all right.
Luna likes to eat this show. She likes to eat.
What do you
You like to eat? You like food?
Eat every day hungry.
She's so pretty.
Hey, good beer, huh? Good beer? Good beer.
Okay, what's your favorite food? What favorite food?
Korean food.
Korean food?
Yeah.
Do you say like kimchi?
Kimchi jjigae.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. I never don't dance. Not
always dance.
Yeah, always.
Always dance.
Always
Yeah.
dance.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So Loic and Jimmy. So actually, for Jimmy, what's your favorite movie of all time?
My favorite movie?
Yeah, of all time.
Putain, la question est relou.
I have a tough movie.
That question.
Avenger. Avenger, X-Men, Wolverine.
Oh, sci-fi. You like sci-fi, huh?
I like.
You like sci-fi.
I like.
All right. So Loic, what is the most embarrassing thing you've ever done? Embarrassing.
Qu'est-ce qui te fout mal à l'aise?
Do you know embarrassing?
Ah, ok.
Funky J's in the room, by the way, as well. It's like hiding.
Ouais, allez. Qui te font chier, qui t'a
arrivé?
fait chier, ouais.
Le truc le plus embarrassant. Le truc le plus embarrassant. Putain. In my life, hein.
Well, for
Go
like,
out to the dance.
yeah, for the dance. I mean, did you do a show and you fell off a stage or something? Or I've done that before, by the way.
Balourd.
Putain, qu'est-ce qui m'a été le plus embarrassant? Putain, il m'a posé ça là, j'ai un trou. Le plus embarrassant.
Question relou, ça.
Grave, parce qu'en fait, je
You have to come back to it.
Yeah, I might have to come back. We'll come back to you.
Okay.
Alright,
It's good.
Yeah.
Alright, so Tony, let's see. Okay. Do you have any fears?
Fears.
Fears.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, I have a lot of fears.
Yeah?
Yeah.
As an example.
Every day. Breathing, eating, seeing, smelling. Yeah, these are real fears to me, you know, because I enjoy life, you know, and these are very precious things to me. So that's something, I have many fears, you know. Yes.
Skeet, so last time we spoke, you mentioned you was a detective, and that's how you managed to connect a lot of people. So why did you become? When did you become a detective, and how? Why did you choose it?
I became a detective in the early 1980s, and I've always been a person that wanted to find out why something happened or what something happened. I guess by talking the way that I talk, I read a lot, I meditate a lot, and I love my motorcycles. But I always went looking for the reason why, and I never was satisfied with why I couldn't find out. So I started developing ways of finding out. So it was interesting to get something that someone says you can't find out, but they were wrong. You can.
You can.
Yeah.
Watch out.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, so did you think of one? No?
Come on, brother.
It's alright, we're going to just leave it. So we've got 5 minutes.
Okay.
Last word, so do you want to say anything like to the locking community?
Yeah.
Final word? No?
Yes.
You want to say something?
Yes.
No?
Yes.
Alright, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's alright,
Keep dancing.
I love locking.
you love locking.
Yo. That's cool.
Yes.
True.
Jimmy, what about yourself? Final words?
Dance your life.
Thanks for your life.
Alright.
Loic?
I would like to say thank you for everybody and thank you for you because you are the big story for the many people in the world. You have to change the things,
The spirit of mind.
the spirit of the many people. I think because
The mind.
you are here
first.
and you explain many things and you enjoy your life and you give a smile. When I see you, I have the smile. You know. Thank you very much for
No. I like to say, really the same thing to everyone here, that thank you for supporting the art form of locking it and other dances, not just one style of dance as a whole, because it's all a big family. Everybody, no matter what style you do, it's all family, and everybody just stick in there and please, keep your props, take it to a new level. Be yourself and just love with it. And I think that's the key. Be positive. We're not negative people. We're positive people. A lot of people try to hate on us because we're positive, but please keep your positiveness. And let's just stick together as a family and take it to a new level. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, I like to thank Vovan and Annie for putting on events that have enough heart and guts to put on all locking events because the rest of the dance world said that we need them to do our thing. And people like Vovan and Annie and P-Lock for putting on a locking event. God bless you.
Props, Pete.
We're carrying our own weight now. I like to thank Funk Stylers TV because the avenue for us to be able to talk to you didn't exist, and now it exists. Yes. And last, I want to thank these generations right here because us OGs would be nothing without you guys carrying it on. It would be nothing for us to come back and do without you guys carrying it on. When they wouldn't give us a platform, you guys fought for the platform for us to come back and be around.
Yes.
I want to give you guys much prop. And all you guys out there, we say one real thing. Educate before you start recreating this thing. Educate before you recreate. There's so much to learn, so much to love, and so much to experience before you think you can just build a house from the roof down without a foundation. Much love to you. Peace.
Yeah. Yo, my man.
Thanks for watching Funk Stylers TV. As usual, everything will be in the description below. Peace.
Funk Stylers.